Welcome to the Oxford Life tutorial for our new e-app. Start by going to oxfordlife.com, click on Agents and Agents again. Enter your username and password and log in. At the top, select My Tools and then e-app and Assurance. From the e-app homepage, you'll select Start an Application. Select your product and state. If you live in a state where a COVID addendum is required, you'll see this page. Go ahead and answer those questions. Next, you'll complete the information for your proposed insured. Remember to use only a legal name, no nicknames. So our client today is Elizabeth Ward. Fill out the information for their doctor and the date of their last visit. If they know their patient ID, go ahead and enter that now. Into their street address. If they have an alternative mailing address, such as a P.O. box, select the checkbox at the top and fill out the additional fields. If your client has an email address, go ahead and enter that. Next, you'll move on to the proposed owner. If the proposed owner is the same as the proposed insured, check the box at the top. If not, fill out the information. If your client has any existing life insurance or annuity policies, you'll select yes. And if they'll be replacing, go ahead and select yes again. This will automatically populate your replacement notice for your state. Have your client read and acknowledge this statement before proceeding to the medical questions. Answer each question. You can navigate between these questions by using either the arrow or the gray boxes below each question. If you accidentally skip one, it'll light up red. Just click that again so you can go back and answer. After you've answered all the questions, click Next. We'll move on to the policy information. Specified date can be entered. You can leave this blank, or they can use a Social Security date for their draft and policy effective date. We're going to use a December Social Security date for the third Wednesday. Enter the amount of insurance your client is applying for, and then select the payment mode. If they select monthly, an electronic funds transfer is the only option for payment. Go ahead and enter their bank information. Their estimated premium will populate in the box below. If they'd like to receive their policy through the client portal, click that first button and make sure that their email address is entered correctly. The next page is for our payer information. If your owner is the same as the payer, go ahead and check that first box. If they have a secondary addressee where they would like any late payment notices or policy lapse notices sent, you can fill in this page. On the next page is our beneficiary section. The first box, you'll select the beneficiary type, primary or contingent, and fill in their information. Again, you're going to want to make sure that any information filled in on this page is a legal name, not nicknames. You'll click the Save button. If you have a contingent beneficiary, you can do the exact same process, or if you've got more than one in either class, just make sure that those percentages for each class are totaling 100. If you leave this section blank, it will populate as the estate. Have your client read and acknowledge the stranger-owned life insurance. And then if they're using a medical power of attorney for the medical questions, they will need to fill out a power of attorney certification. Have your client read the representations and acknowledgements. And then as a producer, you will need to answer the questions about replacements. Make sure that these answers match what your client has entered in the application. On our review page, you can go ahead and press this plus button here at the bottom to enlarge that. You'll want to take the time to go through this carefully and make sure that there are no typos and everything has been entered correctly. If you find a typo or something that needs to be fixed or updated, you can navigate back to that section using these buttons down here at the bottom. and use the arrows to go through the application and carefully review it. Once you're satisfied that everything has been filled out correctly, you'll proceed to replacement forms. You'll need to have your client read, or you can read aloud to them, this important notice on the first page. On the second tab at the top, you'll click for replacements and fill out this information. If your client does not wish to have the information read aloud to them, you can click this box, and then you'll select Add Policy. That will move you to the Review tab and populate the PDF for you to review. Once you're satisfied that everything has been filled out correctly, go ahead and click the Continue to Signage. Once you click this button, you will get this notification that this is going to lock the application and no further changes can be made after selecting Continue to Signage.
This will take you to the signature panel where you can see we have two people ready to sign, the agent and your client. You can have your client sign with you on your tablet or phone, or you can send them an email. We're going to show you today how to do this through the email link. Make sure that your client's email address is correct and click that send button. Your client will receive an email that looks like this. It will identify them by name, and there will be a button to review and sign. Once they click this button, it's going to take them right back in where it would look just like it did if they were signing with you in person. Your client will need to enter their date of birth and the last 4 digits of their social security number to verify their identity. Whether signing with you in person or signing through email, they'll need to click on each link, go through each item, and make sure that all of the information is correct before signing. Go ahead and enter the signed in city and state, and then your client can either sign directly on the tablet or screen using their finger or stylus, or if it's easier, they can type that in. Click the type button and then make sure that your client enters their name as it appears on the application, which we've printed in bold above. Once they've got that typed in, click the apply signature. You'll get this confirmation that it's been added. After your client has successfully applied their signature to their application, they'll be directed to this page where they'll have the option to download the completed application forms with their signatures. When you're signing with your client, you'll have the option to continue to the signing ceremony. You'll then need to sign as the agent. Click on Sign, go through each item and acknowledge, and then continue to the signing ceremony. You'll need to acknowledge the producer attestation and enter your first and last name and your producer's number. You also have the option to either type or sign your name. If you're going to type it in, make sure that it exactly matches your first and last name. Go ahead and click the Apply Signature. Once you get this confirmation, click OK. At this point, you have the option to download the completed application packet with all signatures or to continue to the signing ceremony. Now you'll see that all parties have signed.
We're going to go up to our application dashboard. And we see here in our incomplete application tab, we've got one that we've started for David Peterson, who has a required state specific form. This was an application filled out in the state of Pennsylvania. If you live in a state with a required state specific form, you will have these automatically populate for you here. In our pending signatures tab, we've got a client who has completed the application and has not yet signed it. If we wanted to start that signing ceremony, we would just click here. And then we'll go to our completed applications where we'll see that our application for Elizabeth has been completed and is only waiting for the InstaWrite. We're gonna go ahead and click on that. That'll take us right into InstaWrite. We'll fill out this information. Once again, make sure that you are entering their legal information and that everything matches up. If you have a typo in here, if you've left something out of their address, it will generate an error as the system won't be able to validate their information. You'll need to read and agree to the terms, check the box, make sure everything is in there correctly, and then request the assessment. You'll get this notice, it'll come up, it takes 30 seconds to a minute. And then that'll take you right back to your application dashboard. You can click on completed applications, and you'll see that Elizabeth Ward has an approved status. You've done everything. This has been submitted to new business, and you are ready to go. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any questions, feel free to click the chat button at the top or reach out to Agent Services with any questions.